right. Welcome to the latest TezTalks Live. We're going to be discussing Digisign today and getting into how it works, looking at a presentation and demo, and we'll also be taking a few questions from the audience on that. We have myself, William McKenzie of Tezos Commons, Ken Garofalo, our co-host, also of Tezos Commons, and Alain Broustail of Blockchain Easy. How's everyone doing today?
Perfect, thank you.
Doing very well. Glad to be here. Glad to learn more about the project, Alain.
Great.
You will.
And so for the audience watching, I just want to briefly remind you guys that we are doing a Ledger Nano S Tezos engraved giveaway today. So the way the flow of this episode will work is we'll go into a presentation. After the presentation concludes, we're going to mention a keyword for the giveaway. At that point, you'll enter that keyword into the YouTube chat, and we'll have a Nightbot select at random one of you to be awarded the Ledger Nano S with the Tezos engraving.
Yeah, so be sure to stick around and look for that. But let's go ahead and kick things off and get into a bit into your background, Alain. Could you tell us about your background and your, kind of your crypto journey? And I think you're actually at Nomadic Labs right now. Could you talk about that?
Yeah, hello. So hello, everybody. First of all, I want to apologize for my French accent. So I'm very sorry if you have difficulties to hear me. They said that if you watch that on Google in a few more days on YouTube, you will have some translation on the bottom. I don't know, maybe. Right now, you can see maybe you cannot see it, but I'm happy to be in the Nomadic Labs in Paris office. So they go partners, and because I've got 2 kids running at home today, they invited me to be in a silent place. I'm in the Nomadic Labs place in Paris, very nice office. And indeed, Nomadic Labs is a partner for around a year now. So I met with Tezos for the first time a year ago. So you wanted to know more about myself? Any questions, specific question, my history with crypto assets?
How about a little bit on maybe past education, past work, just a little bit of insight?
Okay, very good. So my name is Alain Broustail, if you pronounce it in French. I'm born in Paris. So I'm proud supporter of the Paris Saint-Germain football team. It's like 20 years now I'm working, I come from MBA, so today I'm IT expert. So don't ask how I moved from that. For the last 20 years, I've been a consultant, so consultant in IT, consultant in project. I've been selling also a lot of software in different markets, including in the financial industry. Around 9 years ago already, I met a group called Sword Group. I joined them as an employee, and I started managing a team of consultants, so up to 50, 60 people, around document management, electronic document management. And this is where I learned about digital signature. 2 years ago, for various reasons, I decided that I wanted to try something new. So I said, I like this big, good team of people. It's interesting, but these topics are it's not original enough for me. I wanted to do something different. And at the same time, it was the big Bitcoin and crypto assets buzz, early 2018, end of 2017. I was watching that, a bit curiosity. I started digging in it. And the first thing I found out is that you can sign document digitally with a blockchain. And that's funny because that's what I was doing for a year with other technology. So I discovered blockchain. And my first love with blockchain was not buying Bitcoin or Tez or anything else, but about what can I do as an organization with the blockchain technology. So this is how I had the idea to create a company called Blockchain Easy, dedicated to consulting and integration on that business. And this is what we've been doing for the last 2 years now, helping organizations, public and private, small and big, understand blockchain technology and use them at the right place, right time, for sharing data, saving data, signing data, and collaboration in general.
Yeah, so, it sounds like, sorry, Will, go ahead.
I think actually going off of what you said earlier about Sword Group, there's a special announcement you like to make pertaining to that.
Yeah, indeed. So Sword Group is my former employer, but also still good partner. So with Blockchain Easy, we're working in very close relationships. Basically, Blockchain Easy, we are the consultants. So me and my partners, we bring ideas, We bring strategical advices, and we bring technological experts. And Sword Group today is our big partner for delivering, so development, integration on the blockchain technology. A few months ago, I convinced them, or they've been convinced, I'm talking about the top management of Sword in France, that there is a big future, nice future for groups in the securities token market. So they decided that we should try, we should go in there. So the first step was to decide what blockchain. So the easy choice was Tezos. And then how? And what we decided is first is learning about the protocol itself and becoming a baker. And I'm very happy to let everybody know. So maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but early next week, Sword in France will be an official corporate baker. So we'll be mining Tez. And there are very, very few entities, corporate entities with 600 employers and collaborators, mining in a tax and accounting compliant way and ISO 27001 security way, corporate baking farm. So I'm very happy of that. This is something we've done together, and this opens a lot of different perspective in terms of projects. If you're a bank, by the way, and if you're looking for a partner, a corporate partner located in France, that can take some of your transaction and confirm, that it's been baked by a French company, call me.
Well, Alain, that's quite an announcement you've made there. So a corporate entity is now planning to become a baker, a validator within the Tezos ecosystem. That's huge news. I know we just had some news here stateside where some companies released that they have Bitcoin on their corporate balance sheet. So maybe it's not too far away that we start seeing corporate entities holding Tezos on their corporate balance sheet. How the world has changed. So for anyone interested in more information on Sword Group, it's spelled SWORD Group. I believe they have a Twitter page they're active on, and of course you can Google the website for them. But next, Alain, we want to get into the wonderful presentation you have prepared for us today. And we want to learn more about the product Digisign that's being built on top of Tezos.
Yeah, I like how you say it's wonderful before you see it. So everybody, I hope you like it. And it's a spoiler, but if you don't like PowerPoint, just move 20 minutes in the future. If you're not today right now live, and you will see a quick demo of the product. So the product I'm going to tell you about is we call it Tezos Digisign. And indeed, I do have a few screens to share. Okay, so now you should see my PowerPoint. Do you? Yep. So
yes.
The project is called Tezos Digisign. It's about digital signature and timestamping of documents and data. It's an open source project that has been developed by a team of organization. So you can see Blockchain Easy here and there, my company. So we are a very happy contributor of this project. The key and the biggest part of the project has been done by the Sword Group. Indeed, all the developments, and we're talking about hundreds of man days, have been done by this company in France. And we've been helped by the R&D team of Git Labs that train us and give us a lot of useful technical tips, plus the Tezos Foundation. So I will explain you, but we got a grant from Tezos Foundation that helped us do much more than what we wanted to do initially. But a small advertising. It's in French, I'm very sorry, because we're based in Paris. Today, Blockchain Easy is providing consulting services for organizations that are interested in blockchain technology or in crypto assets. So even if you don't speak French, I'm sure you will recognize some of the logos on the bottom side of the screen. We are working in different industries, the sport industries, the electronic contact management, or the copyrights and let's say patent business as examples. My name, Alain.Broustail@blockchaineasy.com is my email, and you can find me on LinkedIn. I'd be very happy to be part of your network. So as I explained, I'm too old today I don't know how to use Twitter or Facebook. So very sorry. If you want to contact me, better to use my email or LinkedIn. Also, Sword in France is a very good partner of us. It's a company of around 600 people that is providing IT services mostly. They don't sell people. It's not a company that is known for selling people time and material on client side. Mostly they deliver fixed price projects on very niche expertise. So you see the list of expertise on the screen they're working on. And you can see a lot of things around document management, like archival, portal, content services, communication, content management. This is where I come from. Where you can also see, you will see semantic, web semantic, machine learning, chatbot, robot, RPA is a robot processing automation. So very innovative technology. And one of these new blocks is the blockchain one. So it's an activity that has been launched in 2019 in partnership with Blockchain Easy. So we provide the consulting side and they do provide the delivery. If you have questions, just ask Ken, William. And now the slide is just about the history of Tezos Digisign. I call that the genesis. As I told you, I'm coming from a background in the electronic content management. You know, it's managing documents. And when you're a big organization like a bank, every day you generate millions and sometimes dozens of millions of documents. It can be PowerPoint, PDF, can be an invoice, can be a bank statement. So you have to know what you do with that. And these are big projects, and I love this kind of project. Around 10 years ago, there was a big focus on the industry on digitalization and digital signature. So I run a lot of projects around that. And it was like blockchain. 10 years ago, there were no regulation on the market. So everybody has a lawyer saying, we should do that, we should do that, maybe we should not. Oh, let's wait for what the European Commission is saying. They're not saying anything. So exactly what's happening today, you know, with blockchain and security token or crypto assets. So I've been through that. We've seen the evolution. In 2018, we did, with the SWORD group, our first project in, I will call that notarization of data in a blockchain. So we're working for a big public institution, and we took data and we generate proof that the data was in that specific aspect at a given time. We put the proof in the blockchain, and then we say, if you want to check, just go into the blockchain. If you're not certain that we didn't manipulate the data, go into the blockchain. We did that. Was with a private blockchain. Then we did that for other clients using Bitcoin, public blockchain, and Ethereum. And we are very happy with the results. However, we had some large clients, and I'm speaking about a public organization in France who told us that they didn't really like Bitcoin and Ethereum, not because of the technology, but because of the bad press, because it wasn't considered as a green blockchain, you know, and to be honest, it's not very efficient from an energy standpoint, because it has bad press also, like money laundering associated with Bitcoin and others. So they ask us, Alain, if you want us to use such kind of solution, you should try to find other blockchain. So honestly, this is what we did. We took coin market cap. We checked the list of the 20 biggest blockchain. So we decided we wanted a public blockchain for various reasons. Mostly, if you're interested, I can go into more detail, but for storing a proof on a blockchain, we believe a public blockchain is better, because you cannot play with the public blockchain. The rules are clear, they are known by everyone. With a private blockchain, you know, if you go to a tribunal and you say, this is the way the private blockchain was working 5 years ago, they say, prove it to me. It's more difficult. So we wanted a public blockchain and a large one in terms of market cap as a criteria, because the largest, the more secure, basically, and that's my position, and the largest, the more tranquility in terms of long-term perspective. We want the proof to be stored on a long term. So if you have a 1 billion euros market cap, I'm pretty certain in 10 years time, the blockchain will still be there. Maybe smaller, maybe less people, but they will still be present. So we didn't want to go in one of these multiple projects from 2017 that disappeared like 6 months after the big early 2018. We wanted a green blockchain that people here around the table can understand as a proof of stake blockchain or equivalent of proof of stake. And we wanted the blockchain, let's say, transparent. French public administration, they didn't want a blockchain with Chinese people or only American people. They didn't want a blockchain where hackers are developing it or hackers can know what's happening. And they didn't want a blockchain, we have no idea who's behind it. So when they ask me who's developing Bitcoin, it was a bit complex to say, to be honest, I don't really know. And when they say what direction is Ethereum taking, I'm saying Ethereum 2.0, that was early 2018. So some of you may still, I know, may understand the joke, but the direction and the governance of these two blockchains were not satisfying. So this is why we like Tezos. I won't go into the details again. I think you understand why Tezos was a good solution. And then there was this cherry on the cake when our dev team, so we contacted Nomadic Labs, and then they answered in French on the call, on the phone. Really, we were not sure about that. But they say, yeah, if you want training, you can come and you will have them in French in Paris. So that was, oh, really? This blockchain is French, or at least R&D comes from France. So that was the key decision factor that gave us the will to go into Tezos. So we went to Nomadic Lab and we asked for help. We say we need to be trained. So we presented the project and they told us, guys, this project is interesting for us because nobody is doing notarization today on Tezos. While on Ethereum, you can find dozens of companies who've been doing that for months. So they say, maybe you should ask for a grant, which is what we've done. And Tezos Foundation say, we could be interested in co-financing the project if you make it all open source, available to the community. So we say, great. So don't repeat it. They don't know that we planned initially to have it open source anyway, but we made it open source. And instead of doing a project with, let's say, less cost for us, what we decided is to make a bigger project with a larger scope. So initially it was supposed to be just back office server for timestamping document, and we added some graphical interface and extra feature to make it more of a sexy for anyone.
And maybe this is a good time for me to interrupt with a question here. So yeah. You've pretty much explained why you went to the direction of Tezos. It's pretty clear here. But I'm curious in regards to maybe from the corporate client prospects point of view.
Yeah.
Are they concerned that their information, although it is stored with a hash encoded function, right? Are they concerned that that hash is stored in a public blockchain, which potentially has nodes in countries all over the world, and maybe a country they don't want their information to be stored in? So maybe this is something like a Russia, a China, right? Are they confident enough that the encryption techniques will sufficiently encrypt the document? Or is there like an education barrier there that you have to explain to them that their information is safe?
So you said it, you gave the word hash. For technical people, you know what it is. It's about generating. So you take a document and you generate, so it can be small or big documents. You put it into a hashing algorithm and give you a small chain of like 64 or 128 characters. The same document always gave the same hash. So if you change the document, the hash is not the same. So the idea is you generate the hash, you put it into the blockchain, and 10 years after you say, look at my document, I calculate the hash, this is the same I have in the blockchain. It's a proof the document didn't change. And this principle of hash calculation, especially in the document management sector, is not new. It doesn't come from the blockchain. We had it 30 years ago already, or 25 years ago. This is the way electronic content management system, works for storing documents, comparing them. So the principle in terms of cryptography is very well appreciated. And because we're not in financial sector, because there is no problem if the data is available in that or that country, it's actually a strong point that typically Tezos work the same way in France and in North Korea or in China, because the proof I have generated here in France can be accepted in a tribunal in China or in Australia or anywhere else. So it's mostly a good thing in our business case.
And have you had any experience working with any government agencies that may be using this technology, and do they express the same kind of acceptance?
Yeah, actually, these comments on blockchain and Bitcoin and Ethereum came from government agencies. What I call public organization are government agencies. Sorry for my French. So yes, they're interested, and yes, they're asking themselves a lot of questions. They are to move, but look in France. I don't know for other countries, but in France, if you get married, the document that the city hall will give you is in paper. If you have a baby, they give you a document in paper. If you go to jail, you have a document in paper. They don't do PDF file for that. It's a shame. So we are still quite far, from signing digital documents. So one of the reasons is they're afraid of fraud. So they prefer to stick on, really like stamps, real good old stamps or manual signature, then going full digital. So the idea with this kind of tool is going full digital for a cheap price.
So I think you're setting important precedents there for other projects that may be wanting to work with a public blockchain such as Tezos and may not know if their corporate client or prospect or the government prospect, the public prospect, wants to use a public chain infrastructure. So you've already proved the point that they do want it. So just wanted to reiterate there, but go ahead.
I don't know if I proved anything, but this is my point of view. Actually, if you speak French, on the website of Blockchain Easy, you will find a white paper I wrote with some lawyers. The proof that you will bring. So if you ever, one of the reasons you want to sign digitally documents is because you may need to go for a litigation process to a tribunal. And if you come to a tribunal, you have to explain how it worked, the timestamp, the storage, the immutability of the blockchain, all of that. And you say it's a private blockchain, and me and my friend we set up. My point of view, and the lawyers we're talking to, is that for the judge, like you're saying, it's my Excel spreadsheet. You can do whatever you want in it. Of course, there is cryptography, but good luck to explain your cryptography. But if you put a public blockchain in a big one, and you say, look, this is Tezos, there are hundreds of thousands of people, who can explain you the way Tezos works in many countries, or ask an expert and he will confirm you, not me, they will confirm that the way Tezos works in China in 2020, in the same way it works today in France or in the USA. So we prefer public blockchain for storing this kind of proof. And because we started to discuss details, before we went to the basics, what do we do? So what we address is the notion of digital signature. So that's a wording that many people don't understand exactly. It's because behind that, there is two different notions. One is, let's call it timestamping or sealing. So I've got a document. I'm not interested in the content of the document. I just want to be able to prove that my document is in my hands today, and possibly in the future, prove that the document that I'm showing to someone is an original one. It comes from me, hasn't been meddled with, proving its integrity. So I will call that digital timestamping or digital sealing, if I take the vocabulary used by the European Commission. And on the other side, most people understand by digital signature the notion of consent. I, as a private individual, give my consent to the content of the document. I agree with the document. Digital signature today, for most people in the real life, it's only about contract signature. I sign a contract with my bank. I sign a contract with I don't know what. So I give my consent and I don't move. It's kind of cool, I'm sitting here. I can sign a document without moving around, without stamping, without paper. I'm giving my consent. But it's a different need from the digital timestamp. And we'd love to go into the digital consent side with Tezos Digisign. It just needs some extra works that we won't do today, because at the moment we're focusing on the needs of the corporation around digital timestamping. Let me give you some examples.
Yeah, I'd like to cut in and ask a quick question.
Yeah, of course.
So you made a good point earlier about being cheaper and the actual benefits behind blockchain, but what other potential use cases can you see arising from the usage of these digital signatures, degrees, certifications, or what else can you see there?
The timing of your question is perfect. Look at the slide. We didn't plan, people. You should know about that. So what I want, the cost is very important. I will explain you, but today it's expensive to sign documents. And because it's expensive, the organization, the big corporation, the public government agencies, they ask you to sign basically only contracts. And all other documents, almost none of them are signed. But look at this example, an invoice. So you are an enterprise, a big one, like telco company, energy company, I don't know, car company. You generate hundreds of thousands of invoices every day or every week. An invoice is important because there is a big amount in it. A lot of people say, I didn't receive it. It's not my invoice, not the good amount, not to me. There is a date, and that you have payment term. Please pay within 30 days after that date. So the document itself is important. Now, I'm pretty sure that 95 to 99% of invoices generated in Western European countries are digitalized. That wasn't the case 5-10 years ago. But still, they're not signed. So if you receive a document and say, this is the invoice I received, and you photoshopped it or you modified it thanks to Adobe, modification, you can pay for the extra module for Adobe so you can change the PDF. There is many ways you can make a fraud, like you can change the document. And, or you can, even better, the fraud you can have a fraud, you can contact your a client, an organization, and say, I am your supplier, you have to pay me, this is the invoice. But instead of putting the bank account details of the real supplier, you put yours. This kind of fraud happens every day. And the company, they cannot verify if the PDF is a real one or not a real one. So that's an example, an invoice, but because you sign tens of thousands of invoices every day, if you have to pay even 1 cent for documents, it's too much. So people don't do it. Let's go to the other examples. You sign contract, but you don't sign the quotes or the proposal, which is almost as important as the contract itself. In the banking business, the trade finance business, I don't know if you know about it, letter of credit, stuff like that. It's full of documents. Many of them are still in papers. Some are digitalized. It costs a lot of money to sign them, so not all documents are signed. Professional accreditation. So there is a bunch of projects right now in Europe where, is that physician a real physician? Did he really get the diploma he's saying he has? Is he really a chartered accountant? Did he really get is he a real official notary, who received the accreditation by some kind of government agency? How do you check that? So if there is no database public to you, and most of them there is not, what they do, they come to you with a PDF file, like a diploma, accreditation, saying, I'm the guy, and you want to check that. So there is a lot, maybe 5 or 6 startups today working on that, signing diplomas, signing accreditation. One of the example I really like, because this one is taking today, there is really good project on the market. It's IP, intellectual property. So either as an organization, you have a patent that you're going to ask for, a big one, maybe the coronavirus vaccine. It's lots of hundreds of millions of euros or dollars involved. So you have to prove that you've done everything before and that the R&D, your work is yours. And if you've got a company coming from another country saying, hey, I've done that before you, it's me. You have a claim, you have to go to tribunal and you have to work to prove that you've been working on that before and that they stole your documents. So you have to sign your works. You have to sign all documentation justificative that you could have. And because it costs a lot of money today, you don't sign it. So you have no proof. You have other way of proving the proof, but it's not digitally signed. So now imagine you can sign every day, all the codes, all the documents, everything you're doing, and you sign it like almost for free. Your R&D department that is going to ask for big patents is protected, or at least another layer of protection if they ever need to prove anything. And if you move into the other side of the IP rights, the copyrights, so I'm taking an example. I know that some of you like Twitter or Instagram. You take a nice picture of me today, you put it on your Facebook, lots of people take them, and tomorrow I'm the first page of, I don't know, CNN International. So I say, hey guys, this is my intellectual property, or yours maybe because you took the picture. So you're asking for the money and someone said, no, it's not yours. I found it on the internet. It's public source, open source. How do you prove it's yours? My idea is when you take your picture, before you publish it, stamp it. And so you have the proof, like in terms of time and signature, that it's yours, because nobody can say, nobody will be able to say, I had it before. So in terms of copyrights, there was also on the blockchain lots of projects and failures also in the past for pictures, music, and other type of like IP signature. And many of these failures were due to the cost. Because if it's 1 cent per picture, you know how many pictures we take with a smartphone today, hundreds, so it's still too expensive. So we have to make it even cheaper. And another use case, if you have any specific question.
Yeah, the use case that I could probably relate to most is trade finance use case where previously I used to work at a custodian bank and we'd have these large wire transfers to process, numerous times throughout the day. And we'd have to verify wire instructions with the counterparty. And there was, rather, outdated experience where you're validating these over the phone, and there had to be a better way to do it. So I could imagine if you're uploading these documents and, signing them digitally, you could share that with your counterparty and it'd be more insurance that you're providing the correct instructions and there'll be less instances of sending the wire to the wrong bank, which is unbelievable, but it happens to the tone of, billions of dollars where you're just sending to the wrong bank. It should be at Citi, but it's at JPM. And how do you get that back now? You have to rely on faith. So you could avoid making $1 billion mistake using this solution here. But I wonder, with all these different use cases, you have various different industries involved that may not know how to work, the product itself. If it's not, extremely user-friendly, they may not know how to purchase XTZ to fund this kind of activity. So I wonder what kind of effort you're doing to help limit that barrier to entry for all these different industries.
So you're absolutely right, because it's new notion, because nobody's doing it today. Nobody's signing the invoices, as I told you. So you have to explain why it's interesting to them. They don't come to you naturally to say, hey, do you have a blockchain solution to sign my invoice? No, they don't do that. So we have to explain, meet them. When it's time that they have questions about the legal environment. Then when it's technical, to be honest, I will explain that, but the solution is kind of easy to install if you have an IT department. So I'm sorry, if you're a private individual watching this video, if you're not a developer yourself, you may have some issues to install it, because we don't provide a turnkey service. It's an IT solution, containers to install. And then they have to understand the way the blockchain works. So this is it's very interesting, actually. We have some clients in the innovation department of large group. They say, hey, maybe we could use that as a way to initiate ourselves, to explain what is blockchain to people. Because we need to buy XTZ, so it means that we need to have a wallet. So it means I will show you, we need to explore the blockchain. So we need to understand how it works. You're telling me that this is a proof of stake, explaining what it is, or delegated proof of stake, or even more. So this is very interesting. And this is our business model. We give for free a very nice solution, but we sell services around it to help organizations implement it.
Okay, that's interesting to know. The implementation is where the consulting side comes in from your firm.
Yeah. But to be honest, it's kind of easy to install. If you already know about it, it's very easy to use. So what I hope is that maybe one of you watching it will call me and say, I want to use it, but I don't understand anything. So this is good news, because I can sell a bit more consulting. But it's kind of technically easy to install, like a few hours.
Yeah, is this solution only currently on V1 right now?
Yeah, so we called it V1. Actually, we had a first client in production before the V1, but we committed to quality level, to the Tezos Foundation. So we had a list of requirements and a certain level of quality. So we finished the development by end of July. August was about quality check, audit code, testing by some other companies and by the foundation. Early September, we decided it was good enough to be published as V1. So now we're already thinking about, upgrades to other version, but we don't know how much we want to do it by ourselves, or we want it to be animated by a community. So anyone interested to be part of the core team, let me know. But there will be more.
And this is a good time to remind the audience watching, if you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the comment section if you're on the YouTube channel, or even comment them on Twitter if you're watching there, or Facebook. So very interested here if you want to go ahead and proceed.
Yeah, okay. So just to come back to why is it expensive? So I will explain also. This may interest you because it's not blockchain related, but digital signature or digital timestamping is now regulated. So in 2014, for example, in Europe, after 14 years of nothing, we had a good regulation. Like blockchain, after 14 years of nothing, in 2022, we will have a good regulation. So it comes in France, it's called eIDAS. Yeah. It's in the USA, you have the eSign Act, and lots of other countries have their own, regulations. These regulations, they kind of, it's the framework where they say, please respect these technical rules, respect these technical processes, respect these good practices, and then you can sign or seal documents digitally. Typically, they have lots of rules about how to check the identity of someone, digital identity, which is actually another very good topic for Tezos. They say we need to have a strong authentication method. And depending on what kind of signature you need, it can be some strong authentication or very, very strong authentication where you have to prove by multiple ways who you are. They say you need to have a secure timestamping system, but secure timestamping system is not something, if you want to do it by yourself, I'm saying good luck, because if you install whatever you want on your computer, can you prove that your computer is on the right time? It's not that easy. And you have to prove also that the proof you generate are stored and cannot be hacked by anyone. And to make it simple, it's not simple, it's complex. If you want to do everything correctly, there is a lot of layers of technology processes to add. It costs a lot of money to be fully compliant with the regulation. And except a few large organizations, almost all others decided, okay, the only way we can do it is by delegating. We need to subcontract. So they're looking for what I will call trusted third parties. The DocuSign, USign, Adobe Sign, Sign. All these companies have taken the time to implement the right servers, to go through audit process with the local regulators. They are proposing good services for checking the identity, delivering digital certificates, proposing secure timestamping servers, holding the proof. They propose also a nice graphical interface, so because it's expensive, people only sign contract. And if you want to sign a contract, you need to see it, you need to agree on it, you need to read the small details. And you know what? When they say, please add your signature, I love it because there is no legal reason in doing that. It's just for the fun. The environment about digital signature doesn't need this small design. It just makes the signer more committed to the document because it's like one more click in the process. And then archiving the document, because these trusted third parties, they'll ask you for the document. And this is very fun because these are your most sensible documents. And the first thing you do is you're sending it to a third parties that you don't really know, and that will store it on their server. So people coming from the crypto anarchist faith, the blockchain decentralized world, I'm sure they love the idea that your most sensitive documents are stored by a third party and going through the network when you're doing that. So the conclusion that it's expensive because these third parties, they need money, they make a business out of it. So they ask for money and they ask for a lot of money and it's mostly justified. So if you just want a stamp in Europe, at least in France, and my experience is you can have it between 10 to 20 cents a document. So if you have 100,000 invoices to sign tonight, it's already too expensive. If you're on university, a cheap budget, and you want to sign 10,000 diploma every 2 months, I don't know, you don't have the money to do that. And then if you want a good digital signature using the graphical user interface, multiple, check for identity, it can easily cost you like two euros and even more to get it happen. So even in terms of contracts, you don't have the complete signature for every type of contract. And the conclusion, because it's expensive, you sign only critical documents, and it's not even 0.5% of the total number of documents that an organization is using. So think about it, you watching me, think about all the documents that you created today behind your computer, Excel, Word, PDF, picture, music, whatever you're doing, and tell me, or just write in the Twitter feed. And I don't have Twitter, but tell Ken or William, how many times did you save and sign them today? And I know the answer is 0. So what we want to do, it's pretty easy, is provide documents transparency to all. It's help you sign documents or timestamp them with no trusted third parties, therefore almost no cost. And to do that, to reach that, we're using the Tezos decentralized network.
So this would be a good time to ask the question of, at the current state, what does it cost to sign a document using the solution you have? And if it still needs to be lowered, maybe version 2, version 3 will get that cost down. What is the pinnacle cost that you see you needing to achieve before you're going to, achieve mass adoption for electronic signing?
Mm-hmm. So today, we don't provide a service. We provide code. So it's on Git Lab. You can go. So there is a cost for having the environment, installing the system, configuring it. So let's say if you forget about this cost, the main days you need to install the server. Once it's installed, we need, the only cost we have to pay are the transaction into the Tezos network. So the fees associated with the transaction. And so the fees are, I think right now, 0.1 Tez per transaction, so like 20 cents, more or less. Maybe someone can correct me. So, but the nice thing we've done, and this is part of the R&D, is that you can sign not one document per transaction. You can sign one document per transaction if you want. But if you want to sign 100,000 per the same transaction, you can. So what we're doing, we're using Merkel Trees. So if you're a blockchain technical guy, I guess you know about Merkel Trees, you know. If you're not, ask me the question and answer it. But the idea is in one transaction, you can sign as many documents as you want. So if you sign 100,000 documents for 20 cents, do the calculation, it's kind of very cheap, almost free. If you decide to sign like 3 times a day, only once a day for your organization, because you don't need like timestamping every 10 minutes, you just want the date. So it costs you 20 cents per day. So at the end of the year, it's like, you know, a good party with friends or a few beers, but it's not very expensive. Does that answer the question, Ken?
Yeah, it does. And I think that, you know, as gas limits get risen and maybe future network upgrades, these contracts will become cheaper to interact with. And, you know, as version 2, version 3 come out of your platform, I think there are ways that you can lower that price even further. So glad to hear that. And Alain, just want to remind you of the time here. So we want to see that demo. We want to see this product in use. So if you could just bear in mind that maybe 10 minutes here for the rest of the presentation.
Oh, you should have told me before.
Sorry about that.
Just before I show you the product, I just want to explain that there is a server for signature. So this is what we propose on Git Lab. There is another server to interact with the blockchain. This is where we store the private keys. This is how we interact with the nodes. And then it's full of API. So there are systems that can connect and say, I want to sign a document. I want to check the documents. And we also provide a graphical user interface. And this is what I'm going to show you. It's for demonstration purposes. So in your business environment, it could be completely different because it's API, mean that you can implement it on your own website, smartphone, and have it completely different. Okay? So you should have told me about the time. So this is
one thing here before we get into the demo. I just want to give the audience the keyword here for the giveaway of the Ledger Nano S. This is something the audience will go ahead and enter into the YouTube chat right now. It is going to be exclamation point signed by Tezos, and it's going to be a capital S and a capital T. So exclamation point capital S IGNEDBY capital TEZOS. All right, guys, go ahead and enter that into the YouTube chat now. And thank you, Alain. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So quickly, I will show you the, so I won't make as long of the demo as I wanted initially. We'll make it quicker. So I'm logging to this system. I am, do you know about the demo effect when nothing works the way you want? I really hope I won't have it today. Okay, so I'm in the back office side of the server. So here, I can ask for signing documents. I just show you the ID. You decide what hash algorithm you want to use, like SHA-256. You give a name to the job. So I say this is the podcast up. You decide what document you want to sign. So the document have never been sent to any server. It's just on front. So this is the hash of the document for the people interested. And you click on signing and that's done. So it's not signed yet. We prepared the Merkel tree, we prepared the transaction, we send it to Tezos. And this is what we configured. We decided that we will consider the signature, the timestamping being done after 30 rounds of validation, of baking, just for security reason. So we have to wait a little bit. In the back office side, you know, you can look for the documents to know the history, have they been signed or not. You can check what's going on technically. So we are not going to do that right now. What I will show you is what happens when it is signed. So for example, this one, no, sorry. The press release, Tezos Digisign document. So I've just put a PDF file. So the PDF file is I downloaded actually the other day from the Nomadics Lab website. I didn't touch the PDF file. I've just been the first to use it. I signed it using the graphical interface. So what I'm telling you, yes, this file is certified by Alain Broustail, signed on that date. For demonstration purposes, let me explain you what happened. So this is the hash of the document. So what we've done is we've been into the blockchain. This is the name of the transaction. This is the name of the block. This is the timestamping of the block. So this is the timestamping we use for the transaction. And we know that this document has been signed by that key, private public key. And we, the website, knows that behind that key is Alain Broustail, because we've done the check when I enroll myself. So there is still a trustee, a trust party, which is this website is telling behind that key is Alain Broustail. We can generate like proof files to explain all of that. And just want to show you, so this document is a 29E78. So those who don't know what this is a TezTalks. So this is where I go and explore the blockchain. I'm on Cartagenet, so the testnet. This is the smart contract where we store the proof. The big map is where I do have all my data stored. And if I go, what date was that? It was Tuesday, I think, on the 12th. Yep, here, okay. I think this is the document. So you have written in the blockchain in a way, in a fashion that nobody can move now, nobody can delete that information. You can see that this hash has been signed by that key. And that key, it's me. I do own the private key. And this hash is the document. So if in 10 years time, someone is telling me, Alain, this is not the document you showed us, so this is not the right thing, I can say, look, take my PDF file, recalculate the hash, go into that place in the blockchain and just compare, and not come back to me and try to explain me this is not the same one or I modified it.
So that's a good point you bring up. So the 10-year time frame, is that sort of like the default that this stuff will be stored on the blockchain? And why is it this 10-year time frame that we talk of?
It's not 10 years. To be honest, it's depends on what kind of document you want to sign. There are documents, there is no, 6 months is okay. But in some cases, like legal cases, you want to, there is a certain number of time you want to wait. HR payroll, in France, it's 30 years. So I'm not going to use Tezos for that. I'm going to rely on other technology. A leasing contract, I think it's 7 years after the end of the leasing contract. But like for my invoice, to be honest, I don't think after 1 year I still need it, except if I go have a litigation process. So the duration of litigation process, maybe it's 2-3 years maximum. So 10 is more than enough. And
very interesting. And,
yeah.
And to think that Tezos has this predictable governance, the on-chain governance mechanism that say if anything were to change in the future, such as, I don't know, maybe rent being charged for smart contracts being stored on the blockchain, that would all be predictable. So the clients using the system would be able to calculate what the cost would be going forward for them.
Yeah, and I've heard that the cost will be lower very soon, actually. So maybe divided by 2 or 3. So we'll test and let you know, but I think the cost will be even cheaper very soon. And just before I stop, I just want everybody to know there is a Git Lab. And in that Git Lab, you have all the documentation. And look, you know what? We've done it in English. So it's French English, but still, you've got all the documentation about the project in English. You've got the code. You've got, we even done what we call a quick start explanation. So yeah, you need to be the bit geeky. You need an environment. But if you're a bit geeky, basically, if you have a developer or IT and engineering background, it will take you less than 2-3 hours, I think, to install the solution. And the very last good news, it's completely open source. And we decided to put it open source free of charge so you can use it commercially without asking anyone from us. The only thing we ask, and it's written in the rule, is let us know if you use it because we're interested in knowing it. That's it.
Excellent. So anyone watching right now, go ahead to this Git Lab page and experiment with the code out there and see if you can come up with an implementation of your own. Will, I was wondering if we have a winner yet for that LedgerNet OS?
Yes, we do. The winner is Ryan Keene. Ryan, you'll need to send an email over to social@tezoscommons.org. And we're also going to request that you send a screenshot of your YouTube credentials. congratulations on winning the ledger.
Can I ask what ledger is it? Nano S?
Yes, it's a Tezos branded ledger Nano S.
I just want to say that you can bake corporately with the Nano S. This is what we decided to use for baking at Sword Group.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's good to know, that extra security for the new validator that will be soon coming online for Sword there. So very interesting stuff. We were really glad to have you on board here today, Alain. And is there anything in closing that you'd like to say?
No, thank you very much for the invitation. Anyone interested, even, I'm sorry I had more slides, but I like to talk. So people interested, they come to me and I'll be happy to give more information.
Yeah, absolutely. For anyone interested in continuing this conversation, you can reach out to Alain on www.blockchain-easy.com. We'll have that website linked in the description of the video. And it was such a pleasure of having you on here and having you demo Digisign and really showing how the evolution of the Tezos ecosystem is evolving here. And we're just glad to have you on for today's talk. So for anyone who wants to know more information on Tezos Commons and TezTalks, you can go to tezoscommons.org/TezTalks to see our upcoming schedule of guests and rewatch some of the old great video content that we have. You can also follow Tezos Commons on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, all the other normal social medias. So for myself, for Will, and for Alain, thank you so much for watching, guys. Until next time, take care.